The Ben Johnson impact is real. We got a ton of sound from Ben that we haven't got to this week, and the players, and a hot take, and a lot to do. It's Friday. It's going to be amazing. The CHGO Bears Podcast starts right now. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast on a dynamic Friday where I get to hang out with my good buddy, my close friend, my trusted confidant, the one and only Gregory P. Allen Braggs. And the P today stands for?
Party?
Sure, party is good, profitable. Like, you're just making that money. Look at you. You just reek.
Thank you.
Of
I
success. You reek of success, buddy.
Okay. I reek.
It's a good reek. Stephen Nicholas producing as per always as we get ready to, they had OTAs this week if you missed it. And we were there and we covered it and it was a fun show. But we left a lot of meat on the bone, Gregory.
We did.
That I just wanted to, just because it's the offseason, we don't get to hear from the Bears all that much. So I want to, there's a bunch of stuff that I think has importance, excitement, goodness, if you will, to what's going on over at Halas Hall. So I want to get into some of that today. But first, normally, we want to shout out Friday, June 6th, 8 a.m., shotgun start, Village Links of Glen Ellen. It is our Cookout Classic. And look, come on out and golf, have a drink, have some food, talk some Bears, talk some anything. Personally, I'd like it if somebody would sign up and golf with me because it's still available. But you don't have to do that. You don't want to golf with me? That's cool. Just come on out and golf with your buddies.
Singles can come out. You can book a foursome. You can book a foursome with Carman or some other CHGO personalities. If you go to allchgo.com/events, you can find all the details there. If you're a diehard, you get a discount on that event. We've already got a ton of signups. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's right around the corner. So make sure you sign up at allchgo.com/events. And you can also find our other huge event here coming up later this year. The week 4 of the regular season, we are headed to Las Vegas. Compliments of TreVeyon Travel. So if you go to TreVeyonTravel.com, you can find all your information for that. Search CHGO Bears. Put down your deposit. Many people have already put down their deposit because that's a much anticipated road trip for Bears fans. And you can come with us, get a ticket included. You can have your flight included or not included depending on your travel itinerary, but a lot of great things at your disposal with TreVeyonTravel.com.
Yeah, and Bochanton's in the right spirit today. I bet Carman will be a blast to golf with. Let me. I might be, I might not be. This is how I do my golf. It's called Ready Golf. I'm not there. You're away and bending your knees down and looking at the putting lie.
Well, and it's a scramble too. So you get four cracks at it.
Keep it moving. If you golf with Steven, he's going to take 7 practice swings before he gets up there and fires away. This guy's going to do the same thing too. I'm just there to have a good time, baby. Let's go. Let's chill. Let's move it along. We all suck at this sport. We all should know this. Steven, feel free to retort against me.
Oh, I'm just letting you know I have assembled my super team.
Okay.
And you guys are all going to lose, especially you, Brex.
Yeah.
You got it coming.
I don't even know who my 3 are.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I got somebody to buy foursome to golf with me, so I don't know who they are. Hopefully they're good at golf. If not, we're going to have some fun.
I love the fact that somebody bought Braggs and didn't buy me. That doesn't keep me up at night at all. I'm not worried about it. It doesn't even move the needle for me. Please, somebody buy the golf thing for me and hang out with me. All right, let's get into this. Hey, so the number one thing that happened this week at OTAs was Ben Johnson and his players talking about what it's been like to be around the intensity that is Ben Johnson. Mm-hmm. And then we actually got to see it. Like I mentioned on the show the other day, he was livid at Cole Kmet for not lining up correctly on a play. And I've never seen a Bears coach stop practice before like this, let alone at OTAs. This wasn't training camp. It was, right there for you for everyone to see. And, Hogue asked him about it, his intensity and whatnot. But this was his exact reaction to being asked directly. Herb Howard asked the question, we saw you screaming at Cole. What's this all, what should we know about the intensity that you're bringing to practice? And I thought Ben had a pretty, reasonable answer to what he's doing and why he's doing it.
It's the way we're coaching every position right now. I think, particularly on offense from me, and then on defense with DA, every position's heard it the same way, and we're just communicating. It's loud in there, that. So sometimes your voice gets a little bit elevated at times, and we're just communicating that it's not good enough and we need a little bit better. So
he's doing it at everybody. It ain't just Cole. It's all over the place. I'm, talking to different guys. I'm hearing that, it wasn't just that day. It's basically every day. It's called standards.
Yep.
And they're trying to implement them. This show, by the way, is for you. Like all the stuff you're gonna love.
I love that, and I can't wait to get to training camp to see this stuff. And I know all the fans are excited as well. And yeah, it's about setting the tone. Leave no stone unturned right now. Just because it's mini camp or OTAs and you're in the middle of May and June here coming up, that doesn't mean that you can't have an attention to detail. And that's why, far too many times have we seen in the last few years or last few decades where we've had undisciplined teams and penalties and everything else that puts you behind the sticks. And if you want to be of the standard of the teams that make the playoffs, you gotta cherish these details, and you've got to have an intensity about you that isn't just for the regular season.
Yeah, and we'll get to the players talking about it in a little bit, but it's not just, by the way, the intensity that he's bringing. He's also changing the way Caleb Williams is taking the snap. He altered his footwork. And we're going to go more in depth into this next week with some QB gurus that we're going to have on. But he was asked about it. Hey, Caleb's footwork has changed. Why?
Yeah, I've done it a number of ways in my time in the league, and really over the last few years, I've kind of gravitated towards that. It's something that I feel pretty strongly about. He and I talked about it, the reasons why we want to do it. I think it helps out certainly with the quick game from the gun, and then helps us be in a little bit better throwing posture for a lot of the other things that we're asking him to do. So he, when we talked about it initially, he was already kind of exploring that himself. So it wasn't so much us telling him to do it. It was more a mutual, let's see what this looks like. And I think he's taken a knack to it.
So it does feel, at least to me, a little bit comforting that it's coming from a guy like Ben who knows what the hell he's doing. It's also interesting that Caleb was already thinking about making this change. Yep. And I thought just the top of it, like the quick game, they want him to get that snap and boom, it's out, and they're into whatever play whoever is targeted on something where they're trying to pick up a quick 5-6 yards.
Yeah, I was listening to Jim Miller with Jeff Joniak, and he compared it to a shortstop and like being ready to be in your stance to turn a double play. And I thought that made a lot of sense. No wasted movement or motion, because those milliseconds are the difference between getting that runner out at first or not. And that's the difference between a play executing and the blocks lining up for you. And now all of a sudden the blocks are too far ahead, and then you're able to stuff what you're trying to execute. So I think that's one of the reasons. Chemistry is probably the biggest reason of why it didn't look perfect, for you guys on Wednesday. But I think these are things that have to get taken into account, and eventually, there will be a standard that needs to be met. But I think for right now, working these things out and figuring out. And I also like how Ben's like, no, this isn't a hardline thing, but this is what we're going to try right now.
Well, it sounds like he's trying to do it in partnership with him. Hey, dude, I don't like the way your footwork is. Let's do this. That doesn't sound like that's how it went down. What do you think about this? This is how I've done it. And then it sounds like Caleb was like, yeah, I was actually messing around with that myself, just trying to figure out how to get better. And then bang, bang, now they're into it. Hopefully it'll click. Sometimes these things do, sometimes they don't. Which takes me to just the relationship in general. Like, how is that coming along? How are you? The whole reason that you're here, let's be honest, is to get the QB to as far up the QB mountain as you will so the Bears can win a Super Bowl. And if it's not Caleb, it's just with any quarterback. But how is he going about building his relationship? How's it gone so far, Ben?
It's still early. We're getting to know each other. He's been in the building 6 weeks now, 6.5 weeks now, and getting to know him on a personal level. And the more time we spend together, the better I feel. We got a great coaching staff around him as well, with JT Barrett leading the charge. Declan's in the room. Press Taylor's in the room. So we've got some good seasoned voices in there. And then you bring in a guy like Case Keenum. He does a great job with his experience bridging that gap sometimes between coaching and playing and finding any potholes that could be in there. So I feel really good about the mix around them, and that allows the relationship just to naturally form.
So I just appreciated there's some honesty in there, right? It's still early. We're not there yet. Right. We're still figuring each other out. I mean, I don't want to throw Matt Eberflus under the bus, but let me throw Matt Eberflus under the bus. If you asked him that question, it's great. It's great. The relationship's great. It's a phenomenal relationship. It's the best relationship I ever had. I love him and he loves me. You wouldn't get it. At least you're getting what feels like a somewhat, hey man, it's early. We don't know each other that well yet. All right? We'll get there, but I've been with him for all of 5 seconds.
Well, I mean, we've heard from Caleb's high school coach and how he talked about, Caleb wants that tougher coaching. Caleb said it himself that he wants some tougher coaching. But then you mentioned Ben Johnson coming at guys hard, on Wednesday's OTA practice. And so this is going to be a different type of coach that's going to challenge Caleb Williams in a way that he wasn't challenged last year by Shane Waldron. And so when you're building that relationship, that's what he's talking about. We're getting to know each other, but there's a feeling out process of what he can say to Caleb and what Caleb's going to take as positive reinforcement or that tough criticism that he can handle and where the line is drawn. Because when Adam was asked him about the agitation, he said, I'm gonna watch myself on how I call players out in front of you guys, right? And so I think that that's also something to take into account, not showing up your guys maybe as much too.
So just your opinion here. How do you think Caleb will take it if Ben lights him up like he lit up Komet? I know you weren't there, but I mean, screamed at him and walked towards him and stared him down. Now, do you think that Caleb, I mean, you can't coach everybody the same way, I guess is what I'm thinking. I don't know. The reason why I'm asking is I don't know. Like that, some guys, if you came at me like that, I don't know. I would not handle it particularly well. I think we
saw an example of this at the Combine. The first question, we're all standing. There's a huge scrum. Me and several beat members of the Bears beat were there at like 4 a.m. to make sure we were the first people at the front. So when Caleb came to the podium at the Combine, and some guy 8 rows back who showed up like 20 minutes before it started yells out, "Are you afraid? Why are you afraid to compete at the Combine? Or is it da-da-da-da?" And Caleb just took it right in stride. Yeah. So I think he has that temperament to be yelled at and not be like me, who would be very reactionary. You come with me, as you've said a million times. You come with me with a hammer, I'm gonna come with you with a gun. Like that's who I am. So I don't think he has that temperament, but at the same time, he's the type of kid that, I think will internalize it the right way. And I think he wants that. If he asks for the tough coaching, he's going to get that with Ben Johnson.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I do think that the team will appreciate that Ben is doling it everywhere. Like if he's going to go, like I think part of the reason.
But I think that's what he did with Cole Kmet,
exactly.
Right?
Like he's going at Cole. If he's going to go at Cole, who does everything the right way, then I better be on my P's and Q's too, because he's definitely no one's immune. So
there's an Instagram reel I saw with Chad Ochocinco talking about the first time he sat in a film room with the Patriots when he played there, and he was like, Bill Belichick lighting up Tom Brady. He was like, oh, now I see why they're as good as they are, because if he can get yelled at, then anybody can. So what Ben Johnson did with Cole Kmet is a great message to the rest of the team.
Well, one guy he's not yelling at is getting big-time praise. We're going to play that sound coming up next. I'll leave that out there as a tease. You can think about who he's actually talking about, who Ben seems to already have fallen in love with in ways that perhaps he hasn't fallen in love with the rest of the roster. Or maybe this is just at the top of his love train of Bears players right now. But first, shout out to my friends at Rate.com. If you ever tried to buy a home, get a loan, deal with money stuff in general, you know that it ain't easy and it can be a lot and it's overwhelming and it's a nightmare. That's why I'm telling you about the Rate app, which I was telling Braggs about earlier today, and I was showing him how he could get one of their 800 free wellness videos and learn how to eat well and sleep well and do all the good things. But they also got business for you. You can get pre-approved for a mortgage in minutes without the need to jump through a million hoops. You can get a home equity loan, a personal loan, secure that in under 15 days. You can find the best homeowners and auto insurance based on what you actually need. And yes, the wellness videos are sweet. Like, it is endless. We were on there last night for like an hour going through. We learned how to make matcha. You want to make a nice matcha at home? They got that for you on the Rate app. There's all the things: meditation, breathing, cooking, stretching, all the tools, and it's all free. Free. No charge whatsoever. Download it. They want you to obviously use them for business, but they're also trying to make you feel good on the other side, the personal life as well. Let the Rate app handle all of it. And by the way, do yourself a favor and enter Rate CHGO's summertime sweepstakes. Rate and CHGO hooking you up with some summer baseball tickets. 4 tickets in the bleachers. 4 tickets. That would be with the CHGO crew next Friday, May 30th, when they take on the Reds. 4 free tickets if you download the app. You can also score 2 Rate Club tickets, Cubs Sox at Rate Field, Saturday, July 26th. All-inclusive, food and drinks. All you got to do is download the Rate app. Visit allchgo.com/rate, allchgo.com/rate. Get yourself signed up today. That is allchgo.com/rate. No purchase necessary. Hope to see you out there.
That's right. I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Ray Auto Chevy. Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake is kicking off summer with big Memorial Day savings all month long. Come in today to shop the Memorial Day sales event and drive home with 0% financing for 60 months on select new Chevy models, or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And as one of the top selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive, so you know you'll get a great deal. Plus, Ray's price promise lets you shop confidently, because a guarantee of no add-ons, no hidden fees, and no gimmicks means the price you see is the price you pay. You don't have to worry about price changing, stressful negotiating, or any tricks. The people at Ray Chevrolet just want to help you get into the right vehicle at the right price. So go see for yourself. Visit our partner at their convenient location right on Route 12 in Fox Lake, and don't miss out on their Memorial Day sales event going on all month long for 0% financing on select new Chevy models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
Shout out my guy Ray Scarpelli, knocking it down. Talked some Bears with him yesterday via the old Facebook app. I think this is allowed to say publicly. He's got him at 9 wins right now. Ray might change his mind. Hey, had a great ride in the Chevy track today. Poppy loved it too. All right, our next segment. I don't want to be biased here, but I do think this is the best segment we do.
It makes us smarter every day.
It does. It is. It's called Carman Sense, brought to you by Rate.com. Download the Rate app. I don't know if I mentioned that on the show yet. Download the Rate app to keep both your wallet and your well-being happy. This is what we do. We look at what's working, what's not working. Does it all add up? And we're going to live in reality. Brought to us by Rate.com. Carman Sense. Everything makes more sense when you think about it. All right. I'm going to play you a soundbite, and I'm going to tell you why this makes a ton of sense. Anybody want to guess in the chat before I get to this soundbite who Ben Johnson, in my opinion, is most in love with on the Bears roster? Who he is saying super nice things about? Who he's borderline over the moon that this dude is already at this point in his career?
Tony Medlin.
It is not Tony Medlin, although I'm sure he has fallen in love with Tony Medlin. Justin Baker guessing Tyson Bagent, which is a great guess. Adnan, Erica, both saying Rome. So is Buddy the Elf. A lot of Rome's in there. Bochanton with the Rome. You are correct. Let's listen to it. Let him hear why Ben Johnson loves himself some Rome Odunze.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely impressed. To be a second-year guy, you would expect a little bit more inconsistency, and yet the way he approaches the meeting room, the walkthroughs, the on the field, the drill work, it's very much like a seasoned pro, some of the best that I've been around. And so he's still learning. I know there's a lot of information that he is getting thrown his way. Coach Randall L. and Picasso, they're doing great jobs with him right now. And I think we're going to see a lot of growth from him, not just in the springtime, but once we get to camp.
So, as we dive into Carman's sense here, great job by the chat knowing they're Ben Johnson. Seasoned pro, second-year guy. From the second that Rome Odunze has gotten here, even before he got here, when we were at the Combine talking to him, it was like, oh, well, that guy would be great in a Bears uniform. That's the exact dude that we want culture-wise. I think you probably fell in love with him before Ben Johnson fell in love with him. You were all about that Rome, jumping up and down at our draft party last year for Rome, because Rome is the guy that is going to know exactly where all the plays and go about his business right and go and will block for you, catch the football, everything. And so what makes me feel good about this in Carman's head is that Ben Johnson knows what he's seeing, man. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, but when he's looking around the room and figuring out who's got talent and who goes about their business the right way and who can I build around here as a young leader on this team to hopefully get us the right way. The fact that he's shouting out Rome Odunze lets me know that Ben Johnson has a pretty good idea what he's looking at out there. It's a good, solid, not genius maneuver, but it's like for me, and Carman says, that makes a whole lot of sense that he likes Rome Odunze, because that is who Rome is, and that is exactly what the Bears need as they try to build this thing the right way.
Yeah, I mean, kind of an old soul, right? Like when you
yes.
When you interview him, he's got a maturity you just don't see for a guy that age. And so it's refreshing to see that, and I think that can be something that is contagious in that locker room, especially for the younger players that are coming in. A guy like Luther Burden, I think about, and to have Rome Odunze sit there and say, hey, this is what I went through last year, and then that trickle down where you've got DJ Moore, who's a step ahead of those guys. So for me, it's a good room, a healthy environment for each of those guys to kind of feed off of each other. And if you watch, besides when you talk about Rome's maturity, if you watch Rome's tape, maybe the numbers weren't there for what you wanted as a Bears fan, but his tape shows that this guy knows how to get open. He runs routes in a way that is, you can see that he can be your number one wide receiver a lot sooner than I think Bears fans realize. That jump could happen this year, depending on how Ben Johnson schemes things up. So I would, if I was a Bears fan, I would be keeping a close eye on the trajectory of Rome Odunze. We're not talking about, you're talking about a top 10 pick, and he was a top 10 pick for a reason, and you had three really good wide receivers come out last year, and maybe Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors had a few more opportunities, but once Rome Odunze, gets that shot with an offense that is competent, I think we're going to see exactly why he was taken in the top 10.
Played all 17 games last year, caught 54 balls. It's not enormous, but for a rookie receiver, it's totally fine. 734 yards. That's not too shabby. 13.6 yards per catch. Yes, Steven.
You're going right where I was going, actually. He had 101 targets last year, ranked third on the team. If you guys had to predict it right now, where would you say he's at this coming season as far as the target share is concerned?
120, 130 maybe. When they were in third down and got to have it, who was, Caleb Williams going to?
Yeah,
more
he was
times
the go
than
up
not.
and get it guy. Yeah.
And one of the hardest routes you can run, or one of the hardest plays to execute, for a quarterback and a wide receiver, is that back shoulder. especially on third down. They ran that more than a couple times in some of the biggest moments of a season that obviously didn't have very many big moments. And you're thinking about the Green Bay game right before the block kick. You're thinking about some different moments where Rome Odunze, big time, tough onions type of catch, and he'd come down with it, and Caleb would always put it in the right spot. And it feels like they have that chemistry, or at least building towards it. Now, if they can get to that 50-50 ball, because, as we were told coming in, he's a hand catch god, a 50-50 ball god. Well, let's start seeing a little more 50-50 opportunities for this guy so you can get the most out of what he's best at.
I mean, just target-wise, DJ had 140 last year. Keenan Allen at 121, so where are those going to go? You would think Rome would get a bunch of them. Rome was third at 101. First down catches last year, DJ had 43. Keenan had 43. Rome had 37. So as far as the jump ball guy goes, though, he's the most set up to do it. He's got the best size. So I'm anticipating a significant jump. Let's move along from the Rome love back to the Ben Johnson culture love, if you will. A bunch of guys talking about it, and we'll just try to plow through a couple of these. Number one, dude who played the Super Bowl, knows his way around, Grady Jarrett. What does he see with the culture that Ben is setting? I'm sorry, I rushed ahead there, Steven.
He our leader, man. So, I mean, it's even across the board. The standard is the standard. And what I can say is him, none of the coaches, DA, they're not coming off of it, And it's our job as players to put our best foot forward every day to reach what's expected of us. We're never going to be perfect, but the strive to try to reach it, that could breed excellence. So I'm excited for the standard that he's setting for everybody across the board. So it's this ain't a program where it's like you try to be guys, friends, to pat them to hopefully they'll buy in. It's you got to get with it. I've been around for a long time, and that's the kind of culture you have to set early because when the expectations are high. That's what you want.
So that quote, by the way, was also for you today. No friends. We're not friends. I mean, you and Steven are friends, but
we're not friends.
We're not friends. You just come in here and scream at me every day, and
that's my love language. So maybe we are friends.
My guy.
Yeah.
But look, you gotta like hearing him. He's not coming off it either. Was one of my favorite parts in that. He's not coming off it, dude. He's not here for like day one intensity, and then he's going to be everybody's friend the next day.
Right.
Nah. This is going to be a driving dude until he has this culture where he has this team where he wants it to be. I'm giving Ben a lot of flowers here today, but it feels. Look, you paid him $13 million. We're going to hear from Kevin Byard underlining why they paid him $13 million. But I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying what I'm hearing from these guys.
I don't blame you. I mean, I think this roster has a lot of talent and a lot of, hope for the future. But I feel best about this coaching staff right now, and I haven't even seen them. So maybe I need to relax and actually see it first. But it is a gut instinct to see what Ben Johnson did in Detroit, the way he carries himself, the way he speaks. And that's all we have to go off of right now, what you guys are reporting from what you've seen at rookie minicamp and OTAs. And then the videos you guys have been able to share from practice, Eric Bieniemy, Al Harris, Antoine Randall, see some of the stuff the Bears have put out with those guys, kind of galvanizing and motivating the players. I feel really good about this coaching staff for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, maybe ever since Ditka for me.
Lovey?
Yeah,
Sir?
I was never a Lovey guy.
To your point, I think top to bottom, if you're looking at the entire coaching staff, this might be the best coaching staff they've assembled, at least in my 32 years of life.
Yeah. I mean, when you looked at the Lions when they were on Hard Knocks a few years ago, you saw a lot of former players on that staff. You saw a lot of energy and hype. And at that point, the Lions hadn't really proven anything, but you could feel, something turning for them in that Hard Knocks. Obviously, Hard Knocks dials it up, makes everything look nice as it did for the Bears last year. But you saw a locker room and a coaching staff that were speaking to each other in the right way that a football team should. And so I feel like that's already starting to accumulate here.
Yeah. I got one more from Grady Jarrett come up in a second here, where things that Ben Johnson is not doing or is not a part of, but the team is doing, which is exciting. And then I do want to play by the intensity of Ben from Kevin Byard and from Tremaine Edmonds. I thought they both had interesting stuff. And then, by the way, we're just going to take a little peek at what happened or what didn't happen in the Bears trying to trade up to get TreVeyon Henderson. So we got a ton to do here, plus flag football and the Olympics. It's a big show. But first, Gregory, reminder, take care of yourself. And this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you ever benefited from therapy like I have, you will know what I'm talking about here. It's kind of like when you're on the airplane, man. You got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first if trouble arises. Hopefully that's never happened to you, that part. But trouble does arise every single day with the stress of work and family and whatnot. So to be your best at work, for your family, for your friends, for yourself, most importantly, you got to take care of number one. And BetterHelp is a great place to do it. Mental health awareness is growing. Still a lot of progress to be made, though. 26% of Americans who participated in a recent survey say they have avoided seeking mental health support due to fear of judgment. I will judge you if you don't do it. How's that? Go get yourself some mental health. It's good for you. BetterHelp has over 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist from their diverse network of 30,000 licensed therapists. So, look, it's all online. You don't need to go into an office. It's not super expensive. They make it right there for you. I think I've sold it enough. This is what you do. You visit betterhelp.com/CHGO, betterhelp.com/CHGO. You get 10% off your first month. Once again, that is BetterHelp, HELP.com/CHGO. They do a phenomenal job helping you get to be your best self.
That's right. Want to give a shout out to Circa Sportsbook. Definitely going to have to hit up Circa when we are in Vegas week 4. No doubt about that. But whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. That's right. You can bet with Circa Sports right here in the great state of Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circa Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. It's obviously baseball season, so make sure you're throwing down some quality bets on our Chicago Cubs. 10 games over 500, starting a big series here this Memorial Day weekend. So make sure you're checking those out and making some money off the winning team of Chicago. So download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Circa Sports. The app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois all day.
I love our friends at Circa Sports.
That's right.
I love this show with you today, Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Gervon Dexter Sr. has been a friend of the program. We love Big Dex. We hope that Big Dex is going to have a huge year in year 3. It's a big year for him. Big Dex has been working out in Miami, apparently. And Big Dex is bringing people together. One of the guys he brought together was Grady Jarrett. And Grady talked about this. And this is another one for you, Gregory. Guys looking out for other guys in the locker room, bringing people together. Grady Jarrett appreciated it.
When I first signed with the team, I saw us down in Miami working out together. G put that together. He invited me. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was a big gesture, for him to invite me to be able to hang out with them, spend some time, work on some craft. And I was able to meet him and Tez before I came in the building. I think that's been good for our relationship even before we got in the building, and that just showed his willingness to try to take that next step. And but you can see him, man. You can see the work he's putting in. the weight room, away from the facility. He here early. He's spending extra time with coach. I think in year 3 is such a critical time is where you could take that big leap. You play some football, you can get more comfortable, and now you can know how to apply things and really, really take that big step, man. So I'm excited to see what happens for him, man. I think our styles complement each other very well, and I can't wait to continue to go hunt with the guy.
Okay, there's 7,000 things in there that I think you got turned on. I saw you like the
slow down there.
I thought there was a turn on there. You were smiling.
I did like that a lot. I mean, I just have a lot of respect for Gervon Dexter's maturity since he's come to the Chicago Bears. We had an opportunity to talk to him at a live show on the road, a remote show at Buffalo Wings and Rings a couple years ago. And at that time, he was so quiet, and young. Like, I could remember when we interviewed him, it kind of blew it reminded me of how old I am. Because I still feel like I'm 21, but I'm not. I'm old. I'm going to be 40 this year. And when we interviewed him, like, he was a kid, but he's enormous. Like, he's an enormous football player, but he's I know he's a grown ass guy.
He was super sweet,
but he's like a kid. Like, the way he talks and it was like, man, it just kind of blew my mind a little bit. And then to interview him a year later and see how much he had matured from becoming a professional and being through, the football industry and all that. And then obviously watching his maturity through his physique. I mean, he continues to work on his body. And then to do something like that with Grady Jarrett, who's a true veteran of this league, has been there and done that, played over 10 years in the NFL. That's a big-time benchmark for players. And for him to come there, come to Chicago, and Gervon Dexter showing leadership and calling him to come down there, like, that's the kind of stuff that's going to galvanize a locker room. That's the kind of stuff where you're going to trust the guy next to you and the building blocks of a true, genuine relationship that will cultivate into something into the regular season is the hope.
G called me. He kind of like was even when he said it at the moment, he was almost kind of amazed by it. Like, hey, this young guy, I'm the veteran, I've been around, this is going to be year 11 for me. This dude's calling me up, trying to get me, a part of the family as quick as possible. And look, it's a smart move by G. You want to learn how to do this? I mean, Grady Jarrett is the best mind that you can pick as far as the interior is concerned right now. So that his strategy, his work ethic, a lot of good things there from Gervon Dexter Sr., which is the easiest guy to root for on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see how he became a father, over the last year. He shared some stuff on social media. He's got a big heart, but I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. And obviously he has all the talent and physical attributes to dominate at this level. So for me, it's exciting to see, as much as we talk about Andrew Billings and we talk about, Grady Jarrett, and we talk about Shamar Turner, it is kind of getting to this point where you're almost like Gervon Dexter's I don't want to say afterthought, but the guy that's kind of left behind in the discussion. And so we don't know what's going to happen in this rotation and how things are going to play out in terms of snaps, but they can all really benefit off each other to get the most out of each other if it's dialed out right, by Dennis Allen.
Our guy Huck Rogers, I think he's the first time we've ever Huck Rogers. Good heart, bad first step. It's fair. Like, that's the next. He's got to be more explosive. It's there, but it's got to come out. So,
I mean,
it's make or break right now.
And he's acknowledged that in our interviews about talking about how to get off the ball quicker. He knows that, but he also can do other things that with his size and length that other guys can't do. So, is he the perfect D tackle? Maybe he hasn't gotten to that point yet, but he certainly can make an impact. He has the most sacks on this team short of Montez Sweat, over the last few years since he's been here. So, we can talk about contribution and guys wanting to get better, but, for the most part, he's held up his end of the bargain. Can he get to superstardom? We'll see. But from a production standpoint, maybe the bar is low because the defensive line hasn't been great. But let's see what he can do. And I do think Dr. Truth is onto something here. I'd love to see what Big Dex can do at edge in 2025. He did play a few snaps on the outside, in the years past. And Dr. finishes it with, we have the personnel to see a lot of positional rotation with Dennis Allen this year. And I agree with that. Maybe he doesn't have a ton of snaps out on the edge, but I think you're going to see Dennis Allen toying with a lot of different things. You're already seeing, Daniel Hardy getting reps at linebacker. And so some different things where they're trying to interchange guys and kind of Swiss Army knife some of these players.
If you want to figure out a pathway to the Bears being a really good team in 2025, Gervon Dexter Sr. having a breakout year would be one way that it would happen, because that would be transformational for the defense. All right, two more real quick here. Kevin Byard, great leader, great vet, lives in reality. These are great Carman questions, so I'll just let myself ask the question here because they were brilliant. Hey, Kevin, I got something for you.
Kevin, how would you say it's maybe different a little bit this year than last year at this point for you?
It's been fun. I don't like to really get into comparisons and stuff like that, but just the intensity level of Ben Johnson, I feel like it's very evident. I think you guys can see that, a couple times where, he's stopping practice. You can hear him. You can definitely hear him out there.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it, Carman, but the guy last year sucked, and this guy doesn't. So I'm really happy about that. And, I am grateful that Ben Johnson is here. Is that how you heard it? Because that's how I heard it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think they're all relieved that we have a competent coaching staff.
And I didn't put this on the list here, but I should have here.
I did like how when you cut that clip, you made sure to get the person asking the question.
Yeah, no, the next one that I have is also me asking it. But actually, can we pull up a different cut here, Stephen? It's about Kevin saw about the Bears need a massive culture change. So this was the most this is what I was just surprised to hear a player underline how bad the organization has been and why we're here. So hey Kevin, what kind of workload does Ben Johnson have in changing this culture?
Yeah, I think the mission, especially right now, early in this spring, is trying to set the culture right. Just to be honest, this organization over the last, 10 years or whatever, it's been a losing culture in a way. We haven't really won a lot. So you have to drastically come in and try to rearrange everything, because whatever we've been doing hasn't been working. And I think that's the beauty of obviously the guys that they've brought in the past couple of years with polls and trying to reshape the roster. It's all about trying to go in and win right now. But it takes, a culture of, rather if it's being details, the accountability and all that stuff. We're trying to hold everybody to the highest level, and we're trying to do it ourselves as well. So like you said with DA and Ben, I think that's the main thing we're trying to get accomplished, is really shifting the culture, changing the culture, and not trying to do what we've done in the past and just try to look forward towards the future.
I actually should have made that one the Carman sense, because that makes a whole lot of sense. Hey, look, dude, we've been terrible. We won 3 games, 7 games. I got here last year. We were supposed to win games. We won 5 games. We lost 10 in a row.
Yep.
We need to do literally everything different.
Yeah, I think I have two different thoughts on this on both ends of the spectrum, because I do like that honesty, and he's right. I mean, as a Bears fan, I can tell you all about the dysfunction through my, 39 years of rooting for the Bears. And, I was born 2 months before the Bears won the World Series, 2 months before the Bears won the Super Bowl. And it hasn't been that fun to be a Bears fan for the most part of my life. And so I like that honesty. That being said, he talks about taking accountability, and he talks about, hey, Ben Johnson and DA, this is what we're working on. But Kevin, I think the other side of that I'm also thinking about is when he talks about the last 10 years, hey, dude, you were only here last year, okay? We've been through this, and you're right, this organization has a lot to change, but you only have been a part of this culture for 1 year, and last year's culture was an embarrassment from my standpoint. You know how many times I talked about this during the season, and the way this locker room completely crumbled, the way they turned on, you can hate the coaches all you want, but the way they let go of the rope in that 10-game losing streak, the way they let go of the rope after the Washington game where everybody clearly was pissed off about it, airing out all your dirty laundry on every radio station and show you can possibly come out there, saying things that are are meant to be kept in the locker room. And he did that once. He came out after the Washington game and said things that were said in a leadership meeting. And so like that, like if I was having an honest conversation with Kevin Byard, like I would want to know, like, do you think that was the right thing to do? Because I don't. I don't personally, and that's fine. You want to change the culture here. The culture's been bad here, but he said it. We got to take accountability. That's what I wanted to also hear in that statement, because, hey, I wasn't great. We weren't great with this last year. And so that part of it, I hope, is resonating with these guys, because it isn't just the coaches. It isn't just Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus to blame, and it isn't just for Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen to clean up. It is on that locker room and on these players to take it personal accountability and take and take this bull by the horns and own that locker room, and don't let it have to get to the coach's desk and change this culture.
Yeah, I know a lot of that is fair, and also on Byard's side of it, like, look, man, if you don't know to cover the sidelines with 13 seconds left, I am going to talk about that in the media. That I did ask him, like, hey, when I was in Tennessee, normally in that situation, we didn't just gift somebody 15 yards so they'd be in range to throw a Hail Mary. And by the way, when I was also in Tennessee, if I saw a player that was hanging out with the fans with 8 seconds to go, I would call time. If I had Jalen Johnson coming over and yelling at me and guys weren't set, I would call timeout. And maybe I'd even say, my bad, we should have covered the signs. Guys, pick me up. Something. Like, I got to the point where, like, they felt like they had to call his ass out.
I get it. And you know,
I mean, maybe you're in a utopian world. I hear what you're saying.
Pizzatola's saying, you know, hey, if they wouldn't take responsibility, you know, brags if the coaches wouldn't take responsibility for their mistakes, Byard absolutely should air it out. Maybe, I guess I could maybe meet you halfway there. That's not. I don't think that's the right way a leader goes about things. Personally, I
don't think he was actually trying to completely throw him under the bus, though. I think he was just kind of talking frankly at the time. He wasn't up there all angry. He was just like, you know, I talked to Coach about, like, you know, have we done it this way?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Again, was that the best choice that he could have made? Maybe not, but, like, I don't know. I think they had it with.
Yeah, they certainly had it. You know, there's no question about that, and it sounds like they had it with the coaching staff in the summer before the season had even started. So when things started to go awry, that was kind of when they threw their hands up. But I just need a little bit more resolve. You know, there's going to be moments of attrition. There's going to be moments of adversity, and when every man has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, and you've got to show some fortitude. You've got to be able to stand against the storm and walk in it and own it. Like it, and when everybody starts, you know, pointing fingers and every man for themselves, like that's got to be done. Okay, last year you had bad coaching staff, you had some issues with the organization, but going forward, we can't do that anymore. We can't all scatter as soon as things go wrong. One Hail Mary, and now all of a sudden we're all going to start pointing at each other. So that's a big one for me. I brought it up a million times on the show, but you know hearing Byard talk about it,
they lose another game like on a Hail Mary like they did last year. I hope they do all point at each other. That'd be, because that can't happen again.
They lose another Hail Mary like that again.
That'd be amazing.
I'm going to have to hit up BetterHelp for sure.
Let's hope you get ahead of that one. All right. One more from Byard, because the players were asked about Caleb this week and him talking with to Seth Wickersham with his book that's coming out in September, by the way. Just a couple of quotes that trickled out, mainly that Caleb was thinking about being anywhere but Chicago and fell in love with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, and his dad was trying to figure out maybe he should go play in the UFL. So there's a lot of noise about that. Hey, Kevin, what'd you think about the Caleb situation and him talking with the media?
I mean, truly, I didn't really think anything of it. I kind of just read some notes. I didn't read the whole article or book or whatever is supposed to be coming out. I just kind of seen a couple quotes on it. I mean, that was before he was here. If that's how he felt, that's how he felt. You know, obviously I can't speak for him. I can't speak for his dad. But since he's been in the building, since I've been around him, I haven't noticed any of that. I think every single day he's trying to get better. He's still a really good, talented, young quarterback in his league, and he's trying to get better every day. And that's all I see from him, just working every single day, staying late, obviously, and meeting with Ben and all those guys, we're trying to right the ship. We're trying to right this organization, trying to right the culture. And that's the only thing I can see from, honestly, anybody in this organization.
So there you go. Hasn't seen any of that. Doesn't have a problem. Didn't really resonate in the locker room. Not a thing to Kevin Byard. You buy it?
Yeah, it's hard to say with 91 players in that locker room right now. I mean,
enough.
obviously he said, you know, he read some of the things. Well, that's all that's come out. The book hasn't come out yet. I mean, you can, you know, maybe pre-order it, but the book itself, you know what I mean? Like that's why they put it.
I don't think Byard's pre-ordering.
No, he's not. But that's why that all was put out. You know, the Bears and Vikings play week 1, and now you're going to put out stuff because there's stuff about Caleb Williams wanting to play with Kevin O'Connell, and maybe those are some of the juiciest things in it are the way he called out Waldron and all this other stuff. You know, my biggest concern when it comes to this isn't about what's been said or how the players have had to respond to it, or even a couple weeks from now when Caleb's going to have to answer to this, or whenever he does speak to the media next, you know, if that's next Wednesday at OTAs. I'm not as concerned about that as I am when the book actually comes out 3 days before the regular season starts. Because as Hogue keeps saying, that's when it's going to come out week 1. So when is that? Is that going to be 10 days before the regular season? Is that going to be 5 days before the first game? Because I don't want any distractions going into week 1. I'm already going to be sick to my stomach going into that Monday night game for the Vikings because they need to win it. And I don't want to be talking about this, and we're going to be. We're definitely going to be. And that the idea of that just makes me sick.
Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Like, come on.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? That's all the media does.
Right, but that doesn't mean the Bears are going to lack focus on Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings when the book comes out. They're going to be all right. Unless Caleb said something along the lines of, listen, I'm telling you 100% I'm out of here after year 2. If he said something like that, then we got a problem.
Well, I mean,
but
Kevin's got to answer about it. TreVeyon Henderson's got to answer about it. You know, Ben Johnson had to answer about it. So you can't say, I mean, you can call it a little distraction, but it's not no distraction. Part of the, you know, questions from the media had to do with this book. And so that's going to happen right before the season starts. I ain't got time. Football only. Okay. That's all I got time for.
All right.
Unless everybody's going to agree in that room not to ask questions about it when the book comes out. All right. We embargo the book.
Embargo the book?
Embargo the book.
Okay.
Seth probably won't like that, but it's what we have to do here at Chicago. So do I have to go around and threaten all the Bears media guys? You know what I mean? Is that what I got to do to get it embargoed?
You might have to call up Kevin Fishbane and tell him to embargo. I'm not super worried about it. I still can't figure out exactly why he felt the need to talk to the Wickershammer, because now we've been Wickershammed, and last thing you want to do is be Wickersham, because Wickersham's very good at his job. But I get the fatigue on the story, but we didn't play any cuts from any of the players, so I thought it was worthy to bring it back. Hey, 2 more, and then we got a bunch of little tidbits here to get to. But just one more just to end up the room as far as the intensity, and Ben on a positive note as we went all through this. Tremaine Edmonds has been with a winning organization in Buffalo. Hasn't been winning since he got to Chicago. Tremaine is he can get excited, but he really doesn't get this excited. So this was Tremaine on what he's seeing from Ben.
What do you think about the intensity that Ben's bringing out there?
It's a lot of intensity, man. You see it early. I mean, this is our second day of practice, but it's intensity from offense, intensity on defense. And as a whole, that's what you want, man. That's what develops a good football team. You know what I mean? You got this side that's competing like crazy, this side competing like crazy. Collectively, when that comes together, it's a good thing. And, you know, I think that's what we have. You know what I mean? I see it early. Guys just want to make plays. You got guys that want to make plays on defense, guys want to make plays on offense, take it a step above that. A coach that just wants to score points and, you know what I mean, make big plays. And then on defense, a coach that wants to take the ball away and, you know what I mean, want to make sure the offense not moving the ball at all. That's what you look for. That equivalates to, you know, just high intensity, just everybody competing at a high level. And it brings a dog out of everybody, man. At the end of the day, a dog want to play with a dog. And you feel that energy, you feel that love from everybody, man. It's going to make you step your game up for sure.
The dog wants to play with the dog. It's great for me to get to play with you every day. You dog, you.
You've had a lot of weird choice of words today. I mean, you do every day pretty much, but that's another weird
I don't
one.
understand why that quote didn't take off where a dog wants to play with a dog. Bow wow, let's go.
Yeah.
Be a dog.
That's why me and Steven are friends.
Yeah, you guys are dogs.
Dogs.
Dogs on the golf course, dogs in the podcast room, dogs everywhere.
That's right. Got that dog in me.
You got that dog.
Yeah.
I like that enthusiasm of Tremaine.
Steven's more of a chihuahua.
Ryan Poles almost was a dog when he tried to trade up. When he was at 39, putting in a 7th to get up one spot to the Patriots in 38. And apparently the Patriots were like, you're going to take TreVeyon. We're going to take TreVeyon. So we're not going to do this for a 7th. So they said no. And, of course, the Bears ended up picking Luther Burden. And then they traded number 41. Gregory.
What?
Do you think the Bears really, really wanted to draft TreVeyon Henderson and they just didn't offer enough? Weren't aggressive enough? Or do you think they were, if we don't get Henderson, we'll get somewhere else? What's your read on we're willing to trade a 7th to move up one?
Yeah, I mean,
that came out earlier this week is why we're
right. It was
touching
well,
on
it didn't just, I mean, the Patriots put it on like the Bears have their 1920 football drive where you can see the behind the scenes stuff. The Patriots had their something with Foxborough, Foundation of Foxborough, whatever it was called. And at like the 58-minute mark, you see their behind the scenes in their draft room of them discussing that people are trying to trade up, including the Bears. And they want to give up a 7th round pick to move up one spot. Well, if you really wanted TreVeyon Henderson, 7th round pick, is that enough juice there? I know it's only one spot.
It wasn't.
Right. And it's in the 2nd round. I mean, when the Bears moved back one pick from 9 to 10 to draft Darnell Wright, what did they give up? Or what did they get? A 4th round pick?
Yep. But that's 9, 10, 37, 38. It's a lot different.
Still, though. All right. So if you get a 4th round pick, what, I guess 7th, maybe on the scale is correct. But if you've got other players trying to move up or other teams trying to move up, 6th round, 5th round, whatever.
The Bears weren't the only team trying to trade up for that pick. Pro Football Talk reports the Texans tried to as well. They offered pick number 58, pick number 79, and a 3rd-round pick in 2026. Patriots still said no. They wanted TreVeyon Henderson that much.
And who did the Patriots draft in the 1st round?
Oh, you're testing my memory now.
Well,
New England Patriots drafted
1st-round pick.
The tackle from LSU.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Will
so
Campbell.
Did the Bears want to move up one pick because they still wanted to draft Luther Burden? Because maybe they were worried about the Patriots taking a wide receiver to help Drake May?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
Well, then TreVeyon Henderson certainly would be the other, end of that coin. So I definitely think that that's certainly a possibility. We'll never know for sure, but I definitely think that's on the table. Then it begs the question, if you were trying to trade up for Ashton Genty, which was clearly at least a thought the day before.
Was it Weeder that reported that?
What's that? Everybody was
Yeah.
reporting it that morning. It didn't end up happening, so we'll never know for sure, but it seemed like there was enough smoke there. And then you have them trying to trade up for TreVeyon Henderson. It's kind of wild to me that then they chose to trade back in the 4th round. I know Cam Scatterbo went a few picks before them, but at the same time, you were that hardline to try to get a wide receiver in those first couple rounds, or not wide receiver, a running back in those first couple rounds, but then you wait all the way into the 7th to get Kyle Monangai.
Yeah. Hey, as we get to the top of the hour here, just a reminder to become a diehard Hit that QR code right there. Free t-shirt when you get in the door. All our exclusive content, discount on merch, discount on all our events. Come on out and golf with us. We'll give you a discount on that if you become a diehard. Pays for itself right there. A million ways it pays for itself. It's also a great way just to support us if you enjoy the show. So thank you to one and all who have done it already. And, maybe today's your day to join the diehard family, get in our Discord, hang out as we get into our overtime hour. Look, you know what's interesting to me about it? If the Patriots had said yes and the Bears drafted Henderson at 38, would they have held on at 41 if Burden was still there and gone Henderson and Burden? Would they have gone for two offensive weapons? That to me is interesting, and we won't know the answer to that one. But I do wonder, would they have gone back to back? Let me get you this super fast running back. Let me home run hitter potentially back there, and let me go get you this home run hitting yards after catch receiver as well. Just stack after you pick Colston Loveland.
And Loveland at tight end. I mean, just trying to. Hey, we're not. Ben Johnson comes in and says we're going to be the Chicago Bears offense, not the Detroit Lions offense, and then he proceeds to build this team in the exact model of what the Lions have from a personnel standpoint. So,
because the trade back, they ended up taking Trapillo. So
right.
Then, when would you have gotten the offensive lineman to compete with Carman, to compete with Braxton? I do wonder if in that scenario because they talked about being true to their board. Well, I'm assuming Burden was above Trapillo on their board. Would they have gone running back, wide receiver? We'll figure that one out, or we'll, I don't know, wait into back end of free agency to try to get some level of security if Braxton doesn't come back healthy. Anyway, anything else you want to say about this, Steven? I know this was one of your more interesting topics of the day.
Oh, I don't want to go too far with it, but to me, is this kind of an indictment on the future of DeAndre Swift with the Bears? You look at last season. I'm not putting all this on him because that offensive line was, no doubt about it, was terrible. But he averaged 3.8 yards per carry last season. The NFL average for running backs since 2023 is 4.3 yards per carry. So he's a half a yard per carry worse than the average. And, the team could opt to cut him after this coming season. I think they could save something around $7 million if they do so. And his dead cap hit is only going to be $1.33 million. Is this a make or break year for DeAndre Swift, knowing that, one, they tried trading up for Ashton Genty, and two, they likely tried trading up for TreVeyon Henderson?
Well, I definitely think it is, but at the same time, there's a little bit of a vote of confidence that if they couldn't get TreVeyon, that they wait all the way until the 7th round to draft one. So I think there's somewhat of a vote of confidence with it, at least for this year. I think the one question I have is if they had drafted TreVeyon Henderson, would they have thought about trading DeAndre Swift this year?
It's a good question.
Maybe.
And then brought in one of these free agent running backs that are hanging around that Bears fans still kind of want.
I don't want to be overly simple to your question, Steven, but DeAndre Swift is he's younger than I thought. Okay. I mean, it's any year in the NFL is what I was going to say is make or break when you're a running back. But it's 26, so he'll have a job next year is my point. So it's not quite make or break, I wouldn't think, for him. That I also will underline that he looked absolutely phenomenal in OTAs earlier this week. So I'm hoping that he'll have a bust-out year. Let's get to our Super Chats here. I know we had a bunch today. Thank you so much for weighing in. We'll start with Jonathan Odden, our guy. J.O., my guy, appreciate you. Always good to see you in here. Hell yes, we made it to the weekend. Bear down. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday weekend. And thank you to our heroes who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Enjoy Memorial Day, everyone. It's a beautiful sentiment there, J.O. Appreciate it. And, yes, whenever we get into those zones, I always think about my good old 99-year-old dad getting it done in World War II. He was dynamic, damn it. Got the booze to the officer party one night. Had to go, he's in a Jeep going up a hill. Car got crashed into. Tire blew out. brandishing a weapon like a complete idiot against and saying like, I got to get back. And they, instead of, there was like 10 of them and there was one of him, but they got him to the train with all the whiskey and they had their party.
Yeah.
Shout out Fred Carman.
Yep. Thank you for everyone who served here. Yeah, for sure. I was actually watching the Bin Laden documentary on Netflix where they chronicled how they took, 10 years to track him down and all the different counterintelligence people behind the scenes and, the Navy, SEAL Team 6 guys going in and the planning behind that. And it was very, very good. A 3-part series there for sure,
Yeah. Slight left turn. Did you watch the Favre documentary on there yet? No, Steven, you haven't seen it?
Between the Aaron Rodgers one and the Brett Favre one, it's like I started the Aaron Rodgers one and 3 minutes in, that guy talking about himself. Like, I think probably the only person besides me talking about myself that's more annoying talking about themselves is Aaron Rodgers talking about themselves. So I don't know if I can listen to Brett Favre.
Brett's not. It's not.
Oh, it's against him, right? Is that what it is? Like where it shows.
It tells the life story of an incredibly talented, amazing quarterback who got all the privilege and how he abused it in numerous ways with women, with money, and it does not paint him in a good light in any way, shape, or form. Not surprisingly, it was honestly the thing was upsetting. $10 from Crystal, the best. Love you, Crystal. My favorite trio, Carm, Braggs, and Steven. Let's go. Hope everyone has a great long weekend. I'll be practicing for softball. Love you guys. Crystal is our leader, and we won't talk about the fact that she hasn't gotten a hit yet on the year, but she
bought a bat, though.
But she bought a bat. She missed week 2. She's only had one crack at it, and she's dedicated. And when Crystal wants to do something, Crystal's going to do it. And honestly, we just need her leadership more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Her positive vibes, and she's bringing that in spades. So, Crystal, happy Memorial Day weekend to you. Will Brown and the City, $2. My guy, $4, really. Love from Bama. Carm sounds like Bob from Bob's Burgers. It's messed up, Will Brown. Appreciate you listening down in Bama. I want to get down to Bama. I haven't been there since I went in the softball tournament to Mobile, and I stunk up the joint, and we got eliminated. And it was a double elimination tournament. We played 2 games.
Okay.
I was part of the problem. Although I did have a sweet triple. Thank you very much. Don Burr's dad is here, $5. When Don Burr was little, he'd sneak into my room just to tell me how much he loves the Bears organization, coaching staff, and players. Look at that, Don Burr.
Wow.
Your dad's busting out the truth on you. And then Tizzy Pola.
Oh, a reverse Pola.
Reverse Pola.
A reverse Pizzy.
A reverse Pizzy. Great show, Carm. Your takes are pure genius. Everyone else on the show needs work. Thank you so much, Tizzy Pola.
Wow, Tizzy.
I mean, I wouldn't throw anybody else under the bus here, but
sure you would.
Yeah, I mean, if they deserved it, go
on a radio station and call your team out.
Wait, what'd I do?
No, that's a callback for the Bears.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tizzy Pola.
Let me ask you this before we get going.
Yeah.
I know it's the
time.
Extended weekend, so it's time. But as a diehard Chicago Bulls, we talk about this all the time, our love for the Bulls and the 90s Bulls especially.
80s Bulls.
80s Bulls. I know
you.
You're older. I'm sorry.
Thank
90s
you.
Bulls.
I wasn't no front runner, but go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. That's when I was alive and able to watch.
Fine, I understand.
But is there any part of you that can find it in your heart to root for either the Pacers or the Knicks to win it all?
I got no. I don't get that. Like they were the whole like the way that NBC or TNT, whoever has been promoting the series, like Knicks, Pacers, they hate each other. No, like the Reggie Miller Pacers hated the Spike Lee, John Starks, Patrick Ewing Knicks. These two teams don't hate each other. You have to build that. Now they might start hating each other now.
Yeah.
When you got what's his face?
Tyrese
Halliburton hitting a 3 and giving the choke sign and all that. that might up the ante of
tonight's going to be a great one.
Yeah.
I find both teams fascinating and a ton of fun to watch. Watching the Knicks, I have no idea how they get it done. Brunson, you talk about a dog. He is a dog.
He is.
He can't get by anybody, though. When he's like trying to dribble to like get to the rim, he can't get by anybody. Yet somehow he finds a way. Like, he may not get by you, but he's going to score. And then the Pacers, they are a fun team to watch, man. And it's like, you go back to our hatred, talk about rivalries as a Bulls fan, both the Knicks and Pacers, we were always on the right side of this rivalry, but they were the Bulls rivals too. And so it's like one of those things where I think Sylvie also came around to this too as a big Bulls guy, covered the Bulls like you did in the Jordan days. And it's like, it's weird to like think about it, but I am rooting for whoever wins that series. I'm rooting for a great series between these two. And then whoever wins that Eastern Conference Finals, I'm rooting for them to win the NBA Finals.
I mean, you can root for whoever wins that series. They're losing in the Thunder are winning the NBA championship. That is, I think, fairly obvious. But let me answer this. Sorry, I actually could never root for the New York Knicks. I just can't do it. Speaking out of slightly both sides of my mouth because I needed hatred to build between these two. But for me, friends that I have in New York who I like to dunk on all the time because of the 90s Bulls and beating Patrick and Mason and all of them, Oakley and Charles Smith and Greg Anthony and Derek Harper. I mean, I hated that team. Not like I hated Detroit, but I hated them. So I can't find it in my heart to ever root for New York. Indiana, I don't have the same hatred. I kind of always appreciated Indiana. Even in '98, like I didn't hate Reggie. I didn't love him, but I didn't hate him like I really like Isaiah. I hated Rodman with a freaking passion, idiot. Great player, but and obviously top of the list was Lambeer. I despise.
Now Brunson is a local guy. And
Stevenson
and Tibbs obviously
love Tibbs.
Love Tibbs. They're on the Knicks side of things. So
that was a bad loss, man. That was a bad Tibby loss. Great series. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
I'm kind of bummed out that Minnesota doesn't look like they're
done.
They look like they're going to get swept. Maybe they'll find the fire at home. Pizzatola, $2. We all know Braggs and Steven are the real talent. Thank you, Pizzatola. Don't let Tizzy Pola.
The reverse Tizzy Pola. There you go, Pizzatola. Always ends with either Pizzatola or Crystal. One or the other.
Is there anybody? Did we miss any? We got them all? Okay. I got a ton of shout-outs that I wanted to give. They're all on my phone, so I apologize. We'll do it next week. That's my bad. We do have a show for you on Monday. It is a mailbag show that has been taped in 2 parts. Braggs and I did part 2 today, but it's really going to be part 1 on the show for all of the creativity. But honestly, whether you can watch it live on Monday or at some point on Monday or next week, it's a fun show. You guys had some phenomenal questions.
Little Memorial Day mailbag show for you.
Memorial Day mailbag. Memorial Day mailbag.
And Bears on Kawhi saying 21-year Air Force retiree here.
Oh, you're the man.
Shout out to families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice. You and yours are not forgotten. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great way to finish.
Absolutely, Bears on Kawhi. Thank you for putting that in here. Thank you all for your service. And hopefully you feel very much appreciated this Memorial Day and every day for that matter. All right, let's do it. Say goodnight. Say goodbye. It's always emotional, but it's time. Have a great weekend.
We did it.
Gregory, fun to be with you. Steven, outstanding job producing,
great job, Steven.
Talking, doing everything that you do as always. Thanks, guys, for all the support in the chat today. We appreciate it. Come out to anything that we're doing. We'll see you there. And one more from Bears on Kawhi on the way out. $5 more. Go Brunson. My bro is a science head at Stevenson and also coached him. I mean, it's underrated that Stevenson High School in the old North Burbs has produced one of the best players in the NBA. That's crazy, actually. All right. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
We all silly like the mayor.